But let's talk about actual censorship.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's talk about this. Is one of the we saved it for last. In the event that we're going to get banned or something, yeah, because listen, here's the context. Donald Trump tweeted out a story. It was a video about these doctors. It was a press conference where they were talking about hydroxychloroquine. I'll be very careful about how we phrase this because, we record these segments live, and if you say something out of line, they're watching the live streams. They will hit the X button and delete this stream midstream, just gone outright. But we got to talk about the censorship.
Yeah.
This is one of the most egregious censorship scandals in the history of this nation. I am not exaggerating by this. This may be a historical moment. The President of the United States sent out a video, a press conference from literal doctors. You can argue they're not good doctors, but they were actual doctors, and they were giving advice as they saw it. Perhaps they were wrong. That's fine. But if the president wants to send a message over a digital platform, why shouldn't the president be able to do that?
Yep.
All of the big companies removed this video. Here's the important point. Breitbart, which filmed the live stream, it got about 18 million views before it was deleted across the board. This was a news organization, whether you like them or not, they are protected under the First Amendment, filming a press conference, and they got all their videos nuked.
Of actual doctors.
Of actual doctors. Now, some of these doctors have said, apparently, or at least one of them has said things that are quite silly about, banging demons or something. It's not the point. It's not the point. If the president wants to put something out, who is Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube to argue they have more authority than he does to address the nation? Let's go back in time. Could you imagine if there was a president in, say, like the 80s, and they decided to to address the nation, and all the big networks went, the president is going to address the nation on some very serious crisis and pandemic. Nah, cut him off. And then all of a sudden the channel just turned him off. Sure, they could choose not to amplify his message, but that to me would be ridiculous. Now they've started doing this. Yep. When during the height of the pandemic, Trump was giving daily briefings, and then all these networks started cutting him off and no longer airing these because they were like, he's lying.
No, it was because they were being made look bad.
His approval rating was skyrocketing.
Everyone was watching him, and then they were watching the news and going, what? You guys are crazy. That's not what he said.
His approval rating was skyrocketing to the highest it had ever been in aggregate. And then all of a sudden they were like, cut him off. It's helping him. Stop.
Yep.
And so that to me is quite frankly insane. Now, to be fair, Trump was doing daily press briefings. At a certain point, you're like, maybe we don't just keep showing this every day. But here's the crazy thing. The ratings were up for these companies. Their ratings were improving by showing this. This is what the people wanted to see. They wanted to see the president addressing the crisis. Mm-hmm. And they liked it when he did. So they stopped it because it was helping him. Well, now the president and the president's son are being negatively impacted. Donald Trump Jr. received a 12-hour suspension for tweeting out the video where he said something like, wow, this video sure, challenges the narrative or something.
Yeah, no, he said people are upset because this goes against the narrative
that they're
point pushing.
Is, why not just remove the video like anybody else?
Good point.
Why did they suspend his account?
Well, he's way more open against going against the narrative than the president is. So,
how insane is it? Why does Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube have a medical advice policy? Why do tech companies have a medical advice policy? How is it that I can say over and over again, take advice from your doctor. Don't listen to the president or the pundits. Your doctor knows best for you.
Enter the doctor.
And then when these doctors speak up,
yeah,
they delete all the videos.
Yeah.
That to me is...
Well, it's interesting too, because at the beginning of the press conference, they straight up say, we are sick of politicians pushing forward this, this narrative. Well, they're not doctors. Well, we're doctors, and we're here because we feel Americans need to hear from actual doctors. That's like the first thing out of their mouth is that.
In that press conference, they said, look into the research by Dr. Harvey Risch of Yale. So I did. And guess what I found?
What?
Oh,
this story from Newsweek. Harvey A. Risch, MD, PhD, professor of epidemiology, Yale School of Public Health. Adam, do you know what a professor of epidemiology studies?
It sounds like viruses and stuff.
Yeah, infectious diseases.
Yeah.
Epidemics?
Epidemics, hey, epidemiology, huh? And he says the key to defeating COVID-19 already exists. We need to start using it. Opinion.
Whoa. You said opinion afterwards, so we're in the clear.
It's an opinion. Well, I think the important thing is what they're arguing is that these doctors in this video used a specific word I'm not going to say just in case.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they like basically arguing that it was the end-all be-all treatment. We'll put it that way. If that matters. I don't know. Maybe we'll still get axed from YouTube.
Yeah.
But here's what he writes. As a professor of epidemiology at Yale School of Public Health, I have authored over 300 peer-reviewed publications and currently hold senior positions on the editorial boards of several leading journals. I am usually accustomed to advocating for positions within the mainstream of medicine, so have been flummoxed to find that in the midst of a crisis, I am fighting for a treatment that the data fully support, but which, for reasons having nothing to do with a correct understanding of the science, has been pushed to the sidelines. As a result, tens of thousands of patients with COVID-19 are dying unnecessarily. Fortunately, the situation can be reversed easily and quickly. I am referring, of course, to the medication hydroxychloroquine. When this inexpensive oral medication is given very early in the course of an illness, before the virus has had time to multiply beyond control, it is shown to be highly effective, especially when given in combination with the antibiotics azithromycin or doxycycline and the nutritional supplement zinc. Let me tell y'all right now, I know full well saying these things could be a strike on this channel. It could be the banning of our content. There's a line for me. I've often talked about how there are certain things I'll, avoid because it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Saying certain words or whatever.
Or certain people's names.
Or a certain name, a CIA whistleblower whose name I can't say, because you can still find the information so long as I can prompt you to look for it. This is a red line. A Yale MD PhD writing saying, here's what I believe, is quite literally the expert.
Yep.
Ivy League PhD, doctor of epidemiology says it. I don't know what expert is left.
You can't go any higher than that.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't. So when he says this, I say, I respect his opinion.
Yep.
In the end, I still recommend you talk to your doctors who know what's right for you because, one of the things, I don't know if you guys you ever have Soylent?
Yeah.
So Soylent was like this goal at making this meal replacement that was like, could totally replace your meals. The problem was everybody's body is a different size, shape, and there's not a complete set of nutrients you need. So it ultimately doesn't work. That's the point. Your doctor knows your health and what will work best for you. This opinion is interesting. So why is it that a video shared by the president showing similar opinions from several doctors is ban-worthy?
Yep.
I'll tell you what. I did a video on this earlier this morning on my other channel, Timcast News. It's still up. Got a ton of views, like 300-something thousand. And I say the same thing. You know what? If I get banned for saying this, so be it. I'm reading Newsweek.com.
Yeah.
If I can't read Newsweek, and I'll tell you what, that CIA guy's name, I've had videos deleted because of it. They do this thing, it's really strange, where they either force private the video so that it's still in your library, but it can't be made public. You don't get a strike. They just say, nope, the video's invisible now. Or they remove the video without even telling you. One of my videos got removed. They never even said anything to me until one day I started getting emails from people saying, yo, that video you did on that guy is gone. And I was like, what? And I went into my YouTube and sure enough, there it was, like an image, nothing to click on. It was still there in my YouTube backend, but the metrics were gone and it was just an image that I couldn't click. And it was the weirdest thing that made no sense. Mm-hmm. They refused to reinstate it. Absolutely refused. There was another video where Project Veritas exposed an employee at a tech company who was engaging in censorship. They did the same thing. But this is the line for me. If we can't talk about this and share this information, then it's over. It's over. It's I don't know what else you do, right? You can't. This cannot be ignored.
Yeah, I mean, well, look at Philip Anderson, for example. He is really outspoken. You can follow him on Instagram, King Free Speech. And he talks about, he goes out every night. He's fighting against Antifa, fighting this courthouse. And he's open about talking about what we need to do. We need to, protest Twitter banning people. He's been banned twice from Twitter. Why? Because he's talking about the narrative that they're pushing. That's what this is. That's why Donald Trump Jr. got what was it? It wasn't banned. He was.
They said we didn't suspend him. We restricted we restricted some features for 12 hours.
Right.
And the some features was the ability to tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that you're there for.
Right.
You can read, I guess, but whatever. This is the big secret about censorship on social media. Well, first of all, the secret everybody knows is that the big tech CEOs are lying. They do censor based on ideology.
Yeah.
The evidence has been revealed over and over and over again. We have screenshots. We have witnesses on the record. What happened to journalism? I'll tell you what. Project Veritas apparently is the only place you're going to go to where you're actually going to see the evidence and the witnesses where they acknowledge it. Everyone else says, well, but Veritas lies.
Yeah.
It's a picture. What do you mean they're lying? Did they Photoshop that? No. But here's the big secret. They mostly target smaller accounts. They want to stop accounts from rising. There's a cutoff point. And I've talked about this on YouTube where they change the rules and they don't like the idea that the internet created a meritocracy of notoriety where random and regular people could become very prominent and famous just through hard work. They need to be the gatekeepers.
Good point.
So what they've been doing is when someone like this Philip Anderson guy starts getting followers and speaking, they say, no, cut him off. We do not want another, Terrence Williams on our hands. We can't have another Candace Owens. We got to stop him.
Yep.
So they ban him. And it prevents him from growing. Now, I'm being a bit more, hyperbolic or exaggerating. They just target smaller channels who can't fight back.
It's true.
And that's
what it seems like.
And that's the bulk of a lot of the censorship.
Well, I'm going to keep talking about him. Did you see this?
No, what is this?
Zuckerberg to paint Facebook as proudly American company. Contrast with internet or
Mark
Chinese
Zuckerberg.
internet model.
Mark Zuckerberg banned Paul Joseph Watson from Instagram, and Paul Joseph Watson's Instagram was a bunch of selfies of him on the sunset smoking cigarettes, and it was like the silliest thing I'd ever seen.
I remember that.
It's just like a guy he's like there's a sunset behind him and he's like got a cigarette in his mouth and he's like, "What up?" And they were like, "Nope, far right, banned." They're just purging pro-Trump personalities because whether you like their politics or not, that's ridiculous. You're going to ban someone from Instagram when they only post, selfies. Or actually, another really good example is the banning of the Donald on Reddit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was like the most prominent forum. They moved over to the Donald.win. I mentioned this quite a bit, but this is serious because for 4 months, the Reddit site, their subreddit was inactive. They had already relocated and they prohibited people from posting. And then 4 months later, they announced they keep breaking the rules, so we're banning them. And it was like, wait a minute. Nobody was posting. Are you retroactively enforcing rules without giving them a chance to fix it? Or are you lying? You know what I think? Yeah. I think they were already going to ban the Donald and they were going to wait until just before the election. But the Donald moderators preempted Reddit. I think, because everybody knew it was going to happen. The goal was wait to the 11th hour to stop them so they can't reorganize.
Too late.
Right. So because they jumped off 4 months in advance, they were able to get a lot of their core audience from Reddit onto a new platform, the Donald.win.
So smart.
Then when their plan kicked in over at Reddit to ban the Donald, which made no sense because no one was even using it, all of a sudden it didn't matter. They already had a fast-growing forum on their own private site that couldn't be banned anymore. This is the big trick, the big secret we need to enact. We need to enact decentralized social media.
But I agree 100% on that.
I think back to the days when we all used to have our own websites and URLs and stuff. There was a period where people would actually just buy a domain, make a website, and then it was like, GIFs of Macho Man and, like Mario, and it was like really silly,
stark
crappy
colors.
Yeah, just really, and maybe music playing in the background, MIDI files. Mm-hmm. And then we started getting these centralized social media where it was so easy to create a profile, which functioned as your website, that people just said, I'll just do this instead. We need to go back to this. And I don't necessarily know who or how or when or why, but I know there's several solutions in play, like the Fediverse. One of the ideas that needs to be implemented, which kind of is already being implemented by people, would be like this. A system like Twitter, and as it's basically what's called the Fediverse. You create your own server on your own website. No one can ban you. And people can follow you, just like Twitter. And when they go to their site, they can see everyone they subscribed to, and no one has the authority to ban anyone.
I like that.
That's where we need to get to.
Yes.
How we do it, I don't know. It's really hard to get people to move over to other platforms. I see a lot of people jumping over to Parler, which is cool, But Parler is still just another centralized social media platform where you are going to get banned if their business interests are threatened. Sorry, that's just the way it is. If the merchant accounts for Parler went to them, in my opinion, and told them, you have to ban these people, otherwise we're severing payment processing for you, what are they going to do? Are they going to say, I guess we'll let the whole site, be deleted, or we'll ban this one person? I'm willing to bet they're going to ban the person and say, I'm really sorry, but if we don't, we get purged from our payment processor. That's why we need decentralized social media, and we need it now.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep. So what is this, Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg to paint Facebook as proudly American company. Contrast with Chinese internet model.
Yeah.
This is BS. He's not going to do that.
No, he's not
going to try to do it.
Well, I mean, what we talked about the other day about how they're trying to bring him to court again for lying a couple years ago about not being biased.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Project Veritas exposed that to be BS. So now he's trying to be like, no, we're an American company. Look, Zuckerberg, along with chief executives of Amazon, Apple, and Google, are set to testify before a House Judiciary subcommittee on Antitrust Wednesday as part of a group's investigation into competition in the digital marketplace.
I love it. It's going to be fun on a bun.
What's it going to mean?
Sounds like optics.
He's going to be like, we at Facebook actually deeply proud of this country, and we love this country. I'm a billionaire because of this country.
Just not the people that like the president of this country.
And Jack Dorsey's going to be like, we actually think that Twitter is beholden to a global audience. So we're actually going to defy U.S. law and make rules for the international community.
See,
But slower.
We exist
A bit slower.
Yeah.
We exist outside of the law. So I've actually never heard him speak. I
don't
It's
know.
just like that.
I'm
It's
actually
really
doing an
slow.
imitation of Seamus doing an imitation of Jack Dorsey.
He's good.
from Freedom Tunes.
Seamus is good at impressions.
I'm like, I haven't listened to Jack speak since I was doing the podcast like over a year ago.
But his Ben Shapiro was on point.
Yeah. I think at this point, I think Jack's lying.
Yeah.
I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I've talked with Jack on and off since Jack Dorsey of Twitter, since we did the podcast with Joe, and he keeps saying all of these things, and it's kind of just like, it feels kind of like an abusive relationship where the guy keeps beating the woman but keeps promising to do better, and she keeps going back to him and he just keeps beating her. And that's social media, because people are addicted. They can't give it up. Now Jeremy Hambly over at the Quartering, I guess he deleted his Twitter account.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's got I don't know how many followers he had. He had a decent amount.
I followed him.
Yeah, I don't know if he had like 100K or whatever. I'm not super sure. He deleted his whole account, and he was like, follow me on Parler instead. And I was like, you know what, man? I almost deleted my entire Twitter maybe like a year ago, and I stopped, and I thought to myself, you know what? Instead, what I'll do is I'm going to stop interacting with people on Twitter.
Okay.
That's it. I'm going to stop tweeting at people, and I very rarely ever tweet at people, and I always make sure that if I do tweet, it is like I try to do my best to mitigate against any perceived hostilities.
Okay.
So typically when I respond to somebody in any capacity, it's extremely rare, and it might be something in furtherance of the conversation. I specifically avoid when I see a tweet from someone and they're lying and it's nasty and it's obvious, I just go right past it. I'm not gonna get involved. I'm not gonna tweet at them.
Yeah, I'm starting to take that on too. Just if someone comes, with clout, it's just like, I could waste my energy and try to explain to this person, but they're not gonna get it. They don't care. It's pointless. Why am I gonna waste my energy when I have all these other people that are like, I got your back. Let's further the conversation. And that's great. I like that. And I've been adopting that myself. Just you know what? If you got nothing nice to say, if you don't want to further the conversation, have a legitimate conversation, because there's a difference between having a conversation if you don't agree with me and just coming at me with some BS.
You know what, man?
Yeah.
I look at some of these political personalities on social media, and you know what the lowest tier of political personality is in the world?
What?
Reply guy. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
lowest tier of that is Trump reply guy.
Yep.
They build a following by tweeting at Donald Trump, LOL, and like, you're so dumb.
Yeah, reply
And-
guys definitely bore me. It's just like,
So-
get your own thing. Say, you got to have
Share ideas.
Yeah. Share your thoughts on something.
People, you know,
crazy.
I've had people ask me like, you've got so many followers on Twitter now, Tim. Like, how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't know and I don't care. I don't pay attention to it. I kind of just tweet the things I feel.
Yep, exactly.
And that's it. I will quote people sometimes. I quote tweet people sometimes. I will tweet things. I'll tweet videos. And, you know, one thing I kind of don't like about Twitter is that people assume like a journalist will tweet a story.
Okay.
And then people will assume it's the journalist's opinion when they tweet a story.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll attack the journalist. And I'm like, come on. Just because the journalist tweeted out doesn't mean they're supporting it.
Yeah.
You can't assume that the same way you can't assume I am when I tweet it out.
Well, and I've been doing that a lot. I've been passing along actual facts. You know, like it's no opinion. I don't have any. I didn't even say what. This is a simple fact that here is this is a fact. And then people are like, oh, wow, are you surprised at that? How are you so surprised that that's the case? And it's like, when did I say that?
Yep.
This is a fact.
I tweeted.
It's interesting, and I'm passing it along to you.
There was a photo that Andy No posted of the vandalism and the destruction and the garbage in the morning in Portland.
Okay.
And he was like, here's the destruction they leave behind.
Yep.
And he said the rioters. And then I quote tweeted and I put an asterisk, peaceful protesters TM, as a joke, like, Andy, they're not rioters, they're peaceful protesters. Don't you remember? And someone's response was, so you're saying that it's justified for the feds to use unmarked vehicles to kidnap people? And I was like, what? I didn't say anything. So I responded with, no, I'm saying that I'm making fun of the media for calling them peaceful protesters when they're clearly violent.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And so I'll respond to people sometimes when they respond to me. Rarely, though, because I usually don't even check. I typically don't. But Twitter the joke is that you'll tweet something like, I really like waffles. And then people will be like, why do you hate pancakes? And they're all attacking you.
Yep.
Twitter
Pancakes. Waffles are better than pancakes. How dare you?
But you know, Twitter knows this, and they do it on purpose.
They know that waffles are better than pancakes?
Twitter knows that they've created a rage engine, which is tearing the country apart.
Yep.
They know for a fact they do.
Well, it didn't start with Twitter. It started with media.
Well, no,
with the internet.
No, Twitter gamified the process of hate, where you earn points the more hateful you are.
You don't think that started with Facebook before Twitter became a thing?
No, yeah, I don't think so. So Facebook is relatively different. There is always argument and discussion on Facebook, but you create these isolated comments beneath a post.
Okay.
With Twitter, you can dunk on someone and then someone can grab that and show it to all of their friends too. Whereas on Facebook, if I post a picture of like a dog doing a backflip and then you comment, Tim, you're dumb, no one's going to click share on your comment to have your comment just appear on their page to everybody else. Get it?
Yeah, I see. It's just a
Twitter,
different style.
So what Facebook does, and it does, Facebook created a different system for creating rage. It incentivized publishers to make people hate. Twitter incentivizes regular people to earn points, likes, shares, retweets, and followers by being as nasty and disgusting as possible.
Yep.
Just to be evil and mean. And you know what the funniest part is? I try to avoid it, right? And so I often say to people, like, you know, I'll respond to a progressive with like a fair point that I think I'll calmly and be like, here's why I think this is happening. And I'll get inundated by their followers with insults, slurs, name calling. I ignore most of them.
Oh, yeah.
But then when the people themselves put me on blast, like the progressives, I'll respond with like, I don't understand the hostility. I'm just trying to, you know, have a conversation. And then they do it again. They'll screen grab it, take it out of context, and try and gain followers based off of the attack on the other.
I see that a lot, actually.
Yep, that's the whole system.
No, I'm talking about you specifically because
absolutely.
People are like, yo, did you see this person talking about Tim Pool on, you know, and I'm just like, oh, I'll check it out for a laugh. And I look and it's just someone, look at what Tim Pool tweeted. Look at this. Look what he said. And then look at the people that are following what they're saying. I'm like, this is news? This is what you're reporting on? This is what people want to see? They don't. They don't care about this person, and that's why no one knows who that is.
There's a quote. I don't know the full quote. Maybe you could look it up or something. It's like, small people talk about other people.
Oh, yeah, I think that was Eleanor Roosevelt. Let me see.
Was it? Yeah, pull that quote up because that quote's pretty good. But it's basically like, yeah, see.
They talk about other people. So bigger people talk about ideas.
Right.
Things, ideas, and people. I think it is.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I think it's like, what is it? Like small people talk about people.
Right.
Then like
bigger people talk about things.
See if you can find the actual quote.
Ideas or something, right? I know what you're talking about.
The bigger people talk about ideas.
Yeah.
So I talk about people sometimes, but I usually keep it to the highest level of authority and power.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because one of the arguments I got from a smaller YouTuber as to why they constantly make videos about me is that they're punching up at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I do other than like be a guy in his studio
Yeah.
talking about his feelings and reading the news?
I don't know exactly who he was, but it was kind of like a TED Talk, but it was in India, and it was this man sitting and talking to a huge group of people, and he was talking about how celebrity status and putting people up on a pedestal and looking down at people because you think you're up on a pedestal, and the key is to treat everyone as we're all on the same level.
Yeah.
And all these people are attacking you, like you just said, punching up at you, but they're putting you up on that pedestal above them. So therefore it's them putting you up there and being like, oh, he's up there.
There are people that are so desperate to get me involved in drama.
Yeah, I'm sure
it's the most annoying thing when I get emails. You know what the most annoying thing is when people I know message me on Facebook saying things like, dude, did you see what they said about you? And I'm like, if you send me anything like that ever again, I will unfriend you. I will block you.
Yeah.
Like, do not send me stupid gossip. I literally do not care. I don't care what people say about me. I don't care what they think. It's a waste of my time.
Boom. Waste of time.
Waste of my time.
Yeah, you're wasting your time.
I got too much to do.
Focus on yourself. Focus on what you need to do, and stop being angry that someone else is focusing on what they're doing.
It's funny,
and getting angry at them for that. That blows me away. That people are seriously just so angry at other people when that's all they do. They're just sit there being angry at other people.
It shows you what they think, how much they care about. How much they care about they care about what other people think about them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't, man.
Why do you care so much about what other people think about you?
I'll just post stuff and mind my own business.
We talked about it though. It's that lack of confidence. They are seeking approval because they aren't fully accepting of themselves and didn't get approval growing up. Maybe that's one option. But it's that lack of confidence that they themselves aren't confident enough. So anything, that upsets them or anything throws them off, it's someone else's fault also, so.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.